Hello, everyone. My name is Nicola Gutgold. I'm a professor of communication arts and sciences, and I'm here to share with you some of my research about women and the American presidency. I research and I write about women in male-dominated fields, and we are poised to perhaps elect our first female president of the United States, but people always ask me, why haven't we already elected a woman president? And so I'd like to tell you about a few of the obstacles that women candidates have historically faced in the U.S. Many women have run for president, which is a surprise to people because they don't realize it. But in fact, more than 20 women have run for president of the United States. But when we think about all the men who have run for president, that simply isn't a very big number. So the first obstacle that we face when we think about electing a woman president is the tradition, from Fiddler on the Roof. Tradition, well, it might sound kind of silly and a little bit funny, but the truth is we are very hard to resist tradition. And when we still think of leadership in the United States, we think about males. And so psychologically, for many voters, it's hard for us to get our arms around and certainly our brains around the idea of a woman head of state. So psychology and tradition is the number one barrier. Another barrier is the fact that when women run for president, the media and even the public hold them to higher standards. We expect them to have even more credentials than we expect for male candidates, and the media tends to focus on things like their appearance, and they make fun of them a little bit. And I brought in a couple of my props that I have from my political memorabilia collection. This one is the laughing Hillary doll. She laughs. The New York Times described it as the Clinton cackle. It might seem funny, but in fact, who cackles? Well, witches cackle. The idea that they're making fun of her instead of embracing a part of her personality is a way that we make it more difficult for women candidates. Even more detrimental, I would say, is the Hillary Clinton nutcracker. It was hard to go into an airport in 2008 and not find a vendor selling these. You see there are little sharp edges on her thighs. Well, need I say more? So the media is pretty rough on female candidates. Male candidates, as you might have observed, sort of have a uniform that they wear, a dark suit, a blue or a red tie, and we don't give much thought to it. But the media does pay more attention to the appearance of women. And sometimes that takes away from the views that they hold, and that's a problem for women candidates. But things are definitely getting better, according to some of the most recent research that I've done on this current election. I don't see that happening as often in some of the major newspapers that I've been doing some content analysis work on. Third, the reason that we have not elected a woman president is simply because we don't have very many women running for president. This year we have Hillary Clinton and Carly Fiorina, and that's great because we at least have two women who are presidential hopefuls. But there have been years where we've had no women running for president, and the pipeline to the presidency is often the governorship. So electing women on every level, from our local city councils to mayors, to state representatives, certainly to senators, to governors, is very, very important to creating a pipeline for women in the U.S. presidency. So thank you very much for listening about my research. I love doing it. I find it very interesting, and I'm glad that you do too. So thank you so much, and I look forward to covering this year's presidential election.